on, Vincent.
Hi guys.
You guys, we're just getting started, Mark and Vonda, and we're just going to start with John and go around the room and just say our names just briefly.
Yeah, I am John Schwartz.
Sharon Schwartz.
Larry Milligan.
Mark Benson.
Ivana Benson.
Ken Oster.
Another Mark Lister.
Josh McCarthy.
Megan McCarthy.
And I'm Marcy.
Carol Johansson.
And Bob Johansson. We had 19 years in Indonesia, so we kind of get some of that exposure to that.
That's great. Well, good. Well,
Nice to meet you all.
yeah, as I told you guys, we've been in class for the past few weeks. We've been learning about Islam. We've been learning about what Muslims believe, what they practice, the similarities and differences to Christianity, and we just want to have you guys in just to share a little bit more about what it's like to be a Muslim, to be a follower of Islam. And so, what I'm going to do is just have some questions I'll throw out to you guys, and eventually we'll just open it up for Q&A from the group. And again, as I told you guys, this isn't a debate, this is a conversation among friends, and we're really glad that you're here. So let's do, Mustafa, we'll start with you. So just say your name, where you're from, how long you've been in the States, and we'll start with that then.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum. That's the Muslim way of saying greetings. It's an Arabic word that means may peace be on you.
Thank you.
That's one thing common between Muslims all over the world. My background, I am originally from Pakistan. I came to the US in '98 with my wife and one daughter who was 6 months old now. She's almost 15. And my second daughter is 8. She's in 2nd grade now. I am a software developer by profession. And in 1998, there was this thing called Y2K. The bug that was going to shut the world down. So the US companies were scrambling, and they found people who knew computers in Pakistan, and they say, do you know how to turn this thing on? I said, yes.
Well, thank you for saving us.
The saving part comes later. So I come in here, I work for a year, Y2K happens, nothing bad happened, so I saved the day.
Real quick, tell us where you came, when you came to the States. Where were you?
I was, well, in Pakistan. I am from Islamabad, which is a warm climate. So the coldest it gets there is like today. If it's today cold, it's like the coldest it's ever going to get. And the average is like 100 degrees. The summers are 100 plus. So I come here for the first time in August. So the summer is winding down. I land in Pittsburgh. My first assignment was in South Dakota. If you know Pittsburgh, I'm moving to South Dakota. So it's November, my wife comes in, we start living, and then it becomes minus 20 degrees like in a couple of weeks, and we're like, what is this? So my wife stays with me for like a month. It's December. She said, you know what, I'm going to go back, spend the winter over there, and she came back in March. So that was a shock that we were...
First winter, that's
exactly.
You learned how to get a warm coat then.
Oh yeah, we thought we brought warm coats, but those were not warm coats.
Well, good. Khalid, tell us about yourself.
My name is Khalid, I'm of Khalid. I'm fine with it. I'm from Saudi Arabia. My bachelor's degree was in electrical engineering, double major, and I'm studying here MBA in Kokomo.
So you're IU Kokomo, right?
Yeah.
How do you like Kokomo?
Pretty good. It's fun. A lot of flights, traffic lights, but that's fine. I've been here for 2 years in the US, and those 2 years have been like life-changing, honestly. I can't wait to hear your questions.
Just real quick, you say life-changing in what way?
Spiritually. We met last year, and looking back to it, I think I hopefully grow more in spirit. So 1 more year.
Okay. We'll talk more about that later. Yeah, good. Well then, this is Muhammad. We'll save the best for last at the end there. So Muhammad, tell us about yourself. How long you've been in America, where you're from. So.
My first name is Mohammed, my last name is Jawad, Mohammed Jawad, and actually I'm from Iraq. I don't know if anyone of you heard about Arab.
Yes.
No, it's too bad that I'm gonna put this name. You're gonna remember my country, Saddam Hussein. You know.
Yeah.
You see, and I'm always shy when I introduce myself, and I just got the bachelor degree from my country in Baghdad, the capital, and some people here, I told them about my misery here to evaluate my dentistry certificate. I just came here by December 2012, and I'm just like any normal person in America. It's just the normal things. Eat, sleep, you know.
And you live over by St. Vincent's, an
That's
apartment. And then tell us a little bit about the family that's your, you know,
What do you know about my
yeah, how many brothers you have, sister, and your mom.
We have two brothers, and my little sister met her already. And my elder sister, she's still in Iraq because she married, and we're waiting for her visa process and everything. And my lovely mom and my dad, and my two brothers are trying to go to the IB Tech, you know, and just working right now actually. And my little sister already in the 7th grade in one of the schools. And that's it, that's normal human being, that's it.
Well, thanks. What's that, Carol? That's good. Well, thanks, guys, for introducing yourselves. But let's just talk a little bit about Islam, and tell us, help us understand how is it different practicing Islam in America than it is back where you're from? Because Khalid, you're from Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Iraq. So just tell us, what's it like here in America being a Muslim as it is back in your country? Let's start.
America is a free country. That's what I learned after coming here, that there are people from different backgrounds. So being a Muslim here, I feel that I'm free to practice my religion any way I want. The problems are that there are less of Muslims, I guess, less Muslims living around, so going to the mosque is not the same feeling as going to the mosque back home was. But still, there's no problem, and some parts of the world, the religious freedom is not the same. So I really feel blessed to be in America and to be able to practice my faith the way I want.
I agree with Musab, but I think like practicing Islam or practicing a religion here is much more better because it's free country. They have free religion. So if you are practicing Muslim, you are practicing Muslim, unlike in my country, Saudi Arabia, where religion is something you inherit through father, and you have to like worship. It's against your will, so no one has a choice. I think freedom of religion gives you a religion instead of taking away, like most people taking away.
You had said a few minutes ago, you being here in the States, you've become more spiritual.
Yeah.
Do you feel like because you're here, you've made a more of a conscious choice to follow Islam, to worship? Talk to us about that journey.
That's where it comes from, the freedom of religion actually. Like when you live alone, you have to make some choices for yourself. Either you can observe religion or you can choose another religion. So you have to understand more about your religion, even if it's wrong or it doesn't make sense. But you have to understand more.
Muhammad, what are your thoughts? What difference between being a Muslim in Iraq and here now? Because you're a Shiite Muslim, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so talk to us about what's that like in Iraq and then being here.
I know it's in my country, especially with Saddam Hussein, the Shia Muslims think that Saddam Hussein always fight them, and I don't know, it's really complicated when you read the history of Saddam Hussein and everything. And it's even the Sunni Muslims also has been tortured, killed by Saddam Hussein. And the only difference in here in America. I don't know how to put it, but you know, you can just like what Khalid said. You have a more peace and you can focus with your prayers and everything here in America. Back in my country, now the bomb thing and suicide things. So and any time when you go to work, you just have to. You know, for us, we have. For anyone who expecting to die, you have to say the Shahada. You know, bear witness that there is no God but God, and that Muhammad is His messenger. Every morning we have to say these two sentences because we're expecting that we're gonna die in any moment in Iraq. This is like every morning we're gonna go to work, just like this. So compared between this state of your psychological and mental thing, every day you're very stressed, and here. So everyone is here is Judaism, Hinduism, Muslims, Christians, of course. And there's no. I think the main phrase here is the religion for individual and the country for all. That's right. This is the thing. So, but most important to me, the peace. This is
That's very important. That's interesting. We'll talk about something you had just said. You had said back in our talk about you just kind of wake up every morning. You just have no idea what you may not be coming home that day, which kind of begs the question. You know, from an Islamic perspective, you know, how does one get into heaven? You know, how do you get into heaven as a Muslim? What are your beliefs about that? So we'll start with you.
The Islamic belief of heaven and hell is that if you believe in Allah or the God and His messenger and you do good deeds, then your chances of going into heaven keeps on increasing. So the better you are, the better human being you are, more likely it is that you will get into heaven. And my understanding is that Christian belief is a little different. So there's no concept of 100% guarantee that we are going to heaven alone. So we are always praying to God that God, please accept our good deeds and allow us to be a better person every day than we were yesterday. And that's how we can improve our chances of getting into heaven.
What would be good deeds?
Good deeds are, there are two kinds of deeds that Muslims are supposed to do. One is their duties towards God, and then their duties towards human beings. And to a certain extent, duties towards our fellow human beings are more important than our duties towards God. So for example, being truthful, being helpful, being charitable, being humble, being peaceful, those are duties to our fellow beings. And then praying 5 times a day, reading Quran, learning what's in Quran, learning the traditions, learning how Prophet Muhammad and other prophets, including Jesus, taught. So those teachings we need to learn. We need to pray 5 times a day, do charity, go for Hajj if we can. So those are some of the good deeds for people and for God that Muslims are supposed to do. As a Muslim, I am trying to do.
Yeah, adding one more thing about how doing something good for people is more important than something good for God. Because, like, God doesn't need our prayers, our our good deeds. We need that. So we have to do it for the human beings, not. One more thing is interesting in the Quran. It never talks to Muslims. It didn't say anything about all you Muslims. It also always said all you believe or all who believes. So, and I think for me and many scholars, Muslim scholars, they include the Christians and anyone who believes in that verse. So, if you said that what makes Muslim go to heaven, you have to ask what makes a believer go to heaven instead of what makes a Muslim go to heaven. So it's not like exclusive for Muslims or hell is exclusive for non-Muslims. Like, and there's a verse where God said the paradise, or you wish the paradise, talking about the Muslims or the people of the book. Whoever done a bad deed will find a punishment, and whoever do a good deed will find it. So it never like exclude.
It doesn't differentiate.
Yeah.
That's what you're
So believers, it never talks to Muslims.
Interesting. Muhammad, what?
Yes, I 100% totally agree with
Yeah.
Ghaffar, of course, and Khalid.
Yeah.
But it's just like heaven for us Muslims is like the prize for the ones who follow. It's like it's just like you're been in a test in this life, and in any time someone is gonna take the paper from you or the pen, and that's it. The test has been ended. So God's gonna judge you for the good things. But even the atheists, believe me, there is what is called is the common sense or something like this. I don't know what's the English word, but God created every human being, and there is a common sense in every human being. He knows what's the good, what's the bad.
Yeah.
So God is gonna judge you by these parameters that you just follow. So if you just follow God's orders, even if they are inside you, even if you are an atheist or something like this. So it's like the heaven is the ultimate prize for those who been patient and just follow the God way, the God way, and just like a prize for us.
It's a prize. Evidence.
Just even if there's difficulties and hard times for you, but you have to stay on the God path. You see?
Yeah.
That's it.
It just it's a funny tangent here. We were talking about atheists on
That's
the
right.
drive up, and
Yeah.
I asked Muhammad. I said, "When you meet an atheist, what do you want to do?" And he said, "I want to go talk to him." So
I
you
just
would
wanna-
convert an atheist. So
I know because we heard that some of the Egyptian atheists now is increasing the atheist people in Egypt, and I don't know what's the whole story in Egypt actually. But they're always saying there's some American scientists or something, just like their referrals. So I just want to meet an American atheist and just know, maybe it's like meeting the source or something like this. I don't know.
Well, we'll start with you, and we'll come back this way. Talk to us about the Islamic beliefs about Jesus. What do you guys believe about Jesus? Who is he, from your perspective?
Actually, Jesus was great prophet we know. For me, now in my mind there's a story my mom I always remember it. My mom just told me. It's about there was some guy who loved the girl, and her dad was some kind of a king, and he was very poor, this guy, and he just loved her, but he couldn't marry her because her dad the king has put some conditions for anyone who want to marry his daughter, and so he met a good guy, and he was just crying because he couldn't marry this. The king has put some condition like anyone who wanna marry her, you have to bring her a castle and some kind of gold and stuff like this, and just go by a leg and just start to cry. And he met a guy who was wearing poor guy's clothes, and he told him his story, and he said, I can't do that for you, but you just want to marry her, it's okay, I can give you the castle, the gold and everything. Then he go and told the king about the castle, and he told him about the gold again, the second condition, and he went back to the poor guy, and he told him about the gold. then he also told him, it's okay, I'm gonna give you gold. Then he just married the girl and lived happily. Then he just get back to the lake to thank the feeling this guy who helped him to marry his love of life. And then he told him, why are you still poor guy? You gave me all these things, but you're still poor. How could you have all these, rich people think, but you're still poor and living like this? And he told him, the whole thing that I just has been given to you, it's something temporary. It's gonna go. I'm looking for something which is immortal, which is lasts for unlimited time. And it was Jesus. The poor guy was Jesus, and he was telling him about heaven. It was the ultimate time thing. And he said, I don't want a temporary thing. And what the guy just did, he just left his wife, left the gold in the castle, and go with Jesus. This is, when I was young, this is what's in my mind about probably Jesus and peace be upon him. That's it.
Tell us your perspective.
For me, I believe that, and many Muslims believe that in the miracle birth of Jesus, and we believe that he's one of the mightiest messenger, quite mighty messenger. We believe he done miracles with permission of God, and the majority of Muslims believes in his return. But it turns out there are some interpretations that he might not come. And that's one of the things that a lot of that had some doubts about it. So not every Muslims believe in his return, but they believe in his birth, his teachings, as well.
My belief is that Jesus was a prophet of God, just like Moses and Adam and Abraham and Muhammad. I also believe that he was a son of God, just like you and I are also son of God, if you are good human beings. As Khalid said, Muslims do believe that Jesus will come back, just like Christians believe that Jesus will come back in the end of times. I belong to a sect of Islam that's called Ahmadiyya Muslim community. It was started by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who was born in India about 150, 160 years ago. And he claimed to be that second coming of Jesus Christ. So I belong to the Ahmadiyya community, just like Khalid belongs to the Shia, mainstream Shia, and Muhammad belongs to Sunni. So I belong to the Ahmadiyya community. And I brought some books for you guys. They are on the table here, and one of the books there is called The Philosophy of the Teachings of Islam. And that is written by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who claimed to be the second coming of Jesus Christ.
We've had some discussions. We've talked about Jesus. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the Ahmadiyya beliefs about Jesus, and where he spent his teenage years? Just kind of your perspective about his death. So
Sure. Yeah. The Ahmadiyya community concentrates or focuses a lot on Jesus, much more than Shia or Sunni sects of Islam. Just like Khalid said, some may think he may not come back, some do think he will come back. But since Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed to be that second coming, so our belief system, which is based on Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet and their interpretations, we believe that Jesus Christ was put on cross by the Jews of that time, but he survived that crucifixion. So when he was taken down from the cross, he was unconscious and not dead. And he revived from that coma or unconsciousness, and he recovered, and then he migrated out of Israel in search of the lost tribes. And he ultimately reached those lost tribes and went through Afghanistan, India, and died in Kashmir, which is the northern part of India. So we believe that Jesus Christ survived crucifixion, moved out, and ultimately died in India. And Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed to got a revelation from God where God told him where Jesus Christ is buried. And he has identified a spot in Kashmir that is the tomb of Jesus. Did I cover most of our discussion that we had?
Yeah,
So that's what my
Yeah.
belief is.
Khalid, as a Sunni, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Do you remember that I told you one of my beliefs that changed?
No, talk to us about that.
Yeah.
So, talk to us
So
what kind of what
I don't believe in
Okay.
sects the way it is now.
sex you said?
Yeah.
Sex of Islam.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I don't consider myself as a Sunni.
Okay.
I consider myself Muslim
Okay.
because sects became like package.
Mm.
You either believe in everything
Mhm.
or you leave.
Okay.
I mean, from the religious thing, they would say, no, you don't believe in that, so you're not one of us.
Okay.
So because something doesn't make sense like within the Sunni.
Yeah.
I mean, my background is Sunni, but I don't believe in some of their beliefs, like becoming back with Jesus and many things.
Okay.
So I don't consider myself as a Sunni. And
Interesting. Well, just talk to us then. What would, from your kind of Islamic beliefs, and what talk to us about about Jesus on the cross and what you believe what happened. Just kind of hear your perspective.
And also one of the things that the problems is that we have the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet. And I used to believe is that what they taught us, that we have the same level. They should put in the same consideration. But I found that Quran should be much more higher in terms of consideration. And then comes the sayings of the Prophet.
The sayings being, is that the Hadith?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
claimed to be claimed
Right.
of Prophet sayings. So we have something that what we think is absolute truth. And we have something that kind of
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. So why should we put them together?
Okay.
We have God's word and we have what claims to be prophets.
I see.
So most like religious men over the years have like okay. So there's a book called There's a God by Anthony Antiochus who converted to Christianity after 60 years of atheism. He died after 2 years of conversion, which is astonishing. He said that the problem is sometimes we let our theory shapes the evidence. Where in fact we should let the evidence shape the theory. That's what happened with Muslims. They interpret their book or their prophet sayings the way they like it. They don't let the text interpret itself or reveal itself by itself. You don't. They have a theory in their mind, and they want to put it or shape the prophet sayings or the book, the Quran, as they want.
Right.
Not the other way around. So I think that's what happened for many misbeliefs and Islam. And
Interesting. Muhammad, can you just talk to us about, from your perspective about Jesus and his death and cross, and what, from your perspective, tell us what you think.
The Shia Muslims believe that at the end of time and before the judgment day, it's, we have the 12 imam, like the 12 decibels of Jesus. We have 12 imams actually, and the last one, his name is Imam al-Mahdi. He's the grandson of Prophet Muhammad through one.
All
So
the
he's the last of the
generations.
it's like this. But we also believe that Jesus is gonna came and pray behind him. I don't know if I put it correctly, but for me, I believe it's because there's what we call the typical Christian people, who strictly believe and apply everything in the whole Bible, But some of them has some doubt about the Trinity, and but we call them the typical Christian people. We're strictly, I don't know how to, I told you, and that's why, so they are believers, you see, that's why we, at least for me, I believe that's why Jesus is going to come back to group all these Muslims and Christians, Muslims, also the Sunni people believe that Imam Mahdi is going to come, but there's a little, we say he's already there, but they say he's going to be born, and so we believe in the second coming, and all good believers, Christian people, and so there's some Christian people who didn't know about the last prophet and his message, the Quran. So that's why we believe that Jesus is gonna come. So these believers is gonna be, and all Muslims, Christians is gonna be group.
Interesting.
I hope this answered your question. Or
I think so. Sure. Let's, how much time do we have? I got one more question for you guys, and then we'll open it up. And this is kind of, I think it's just, we have to talk about it. It's kind of the elephant in the room, I think, whenever Christians and Muslims get together. And I'd like to hear your thoughts. You know, a lot of Americans, a lot of our window upon Islam is what we see on television. Right or wrong, it is what it is. And a lot of things that we see on television about Islamic terrorism, Islamic extremism, 9/11, and even before 9/11, there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, talk to us from your beliefs and your perspectives. You know, what are your thoughts on Islamic terrorism? Are these guys, are they true Muslims? Are they following the tenets of Islam? Are they, you know, what are they? As Americans, we're very confused. Is it all the same? Is it different? So just talk to us from your perspective about that. I hope my question makes sense. So
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me. I think right now some people think Islam equals terrorism. All Muslims are terrorists. They are just waiting for the right time to blow up. So be careful.
I know we're all afraid right now.
I lost my jacket. I forgot my jacket. Islam, the people who are extremists and terrorists, like the Al-Qaeda kind of people, I believe they misunderstood Islam. They take certain verses in Quran and misinterpret them out of context to achieve their political objectives. So most of this terrorism that's happening, I think it's happening because of underlying political problems, but those people, those so-called Muslims, are just basically extremists. So I keep telling Americans that Islam is not the enemy, it's the extremism. So we should focus on extremists, not Muslims. Personally speaking, the Ahmadiyya community made a commitment after 9/11 to speak up whenever there's an act of terrorism or extremism around the world involving Muslims. We talk about it, we distribute flyers, we talk to the media. I myself has appeared on several TV channels here in India, and we launched campaigns where we distribute flyers. We call it Muslims for Peace campaign. We also launched a campaign a few years ago, we call it Muslims for Loyalty campaign, where the message is that Muslims are supposed to be loyal to the country where they live. And that's not a political thing that they should do, but it's part of their religion. Prophet Muhammad, one of his traditions, or hadith is that a Muslim is supposed to be loyal to the country he lives in. Whether it's a Muslim country or a Christian country or an atheist country, it doesn't matter. So that's what my belief is. And very recently, the Ahmadiyya community, we launched a campaign called Muslims for Life campaign, where we are collecting 10,000 bags of blood each year across the US and donating that blood to the Red Cross and the blood centers. So we organize blood drives. And again, the purpose is to tell fellow Americans that Islam is not a religion of terror. It's a religion of peace, and life is very important. So another tradition of Holy Prophet Muhammad is that if you kill one person unjustly, it's like killing the entire humanity. And if you save one life of somebody, it's like saving the entire humanity. So those messages seem to have gone down, and nobody heard those. They just see these crazy people either blowing themselves up or sometimes even killing themselves just because somebody desecrated Quran or somebody created a cartoon of Prophet Muhammad, and the whole Muslim world goes in flame. And we believe it's just absolutely wrong. If somebody is making fun or mocking the Prophet or God or the religion, the reaction should be a dialogue. The reaction should be writing about it, speaking about it, instead of making protests and violent protests. They are just counterproductive. So that's what my belief is.
Colin, what are your perspectives on that?
I used to blame the media before, but not anymore, because I think they should be exposed. People like terrorists should be exposed like this. So I used to say that conspiracy theory, the media is targeting us, but no, actually some Muslims are terrorists. And as Muzaffar said, the problem is with the reader, not the text.
The reader.
Yeah, the reader. The problem is the body of the terrorism has gone, but the ideology is still there. So even the Al Qaeda or the head of the Al Qaeda is gone. The problem is still there. It didn't die yet. And all it needs people like Muzaffar and the campaign they launched over the years will help Muslims and non-Muslims to understand their book, the Quran. And that's it. Like one of the things that about the cartoon or the movie about the problem is what comes after it is much more degrading for Islam than the cartoon itself.
So the reaction.
The reaction of Muslims is much more degrading. And as for the bombing, it's not just an extremist. If you're going to call it something extremist, it's doing something but for an extreme. It's like, okay, maybe Islam permit killing one innocent, but they take it for 30 people. It's not extremist. If it's something, it's anti-Islamic teaching. That's what it is. It's not extremist. It's doing something for extreme. So instead of killing one innocent, you're going to kill a bunch of
Yeah, that's good. Mohammed, tell us your thoughts on it.
Actually, this subject is really interesting for me because this is what bring me to America. Actually, the main story was why we came to America. Actually, the last thing we just been exposed to was a terrorist attack on my house itself. Our little region, let's say this is our house. I was sitting just, until now I remember I was watching actually Zorro, you know the film? Yeah, I remember. And just like this, yeah, I can't forget it. And I just saw some light of fire in the the outside of my house. I thought maybe it was some like a mortar bombed or something like this. The fire just entered to the kitchen actually, and then the electricity has gone and everything is dark. We go outside, we saw the bodies, and because we were the last house in our street,
Yeah.
because we couldn't go to anywhere. We don't have another house, so
Yeah.
and that was the last terrorist. I'm a Muslim, so but let me put it in the easiest way. It's like, just like the Christian people have the black sheep, you know, like let's say about Hitler, you know,
Yeah.
was he a Christian or not?
So
You see,
he was.
but
Yeah.
you know, you see, it's
He
just
used the Christians.
Yeah.
you see, it's just the same brainwashing to use to destroy the religion. Actually, it's we think the terrorism, especially the Shia Muslims, is brainwashed people who's been used by what is called checks or something like this. Actually for Ahmadiyya, I think is the most genius one who with this thing when he's been told about the, not about terrorism, but how some people who asked Islam is separated by sword or something like that. Ahmadiyya was the most genius I have ever seen who responded to this. But it's almost just like the black sheep in the Christianity. These are the same thing. That's it.
Okay. Thanks for your responses. So I just want to open this up in the last, I think, 15 minutes or so we have here. Just questions that you guys may have for our guests.
I want to say one quick thing before we go into questions. The terrorism, the Islamic terrorism in the world has killed much more Muslims than they have killed non-Muslims. So just keep that in mind, that West is affected, but Muslims killing each other on the name of Islam is happening a lot more, and that's really sad.
Following up on that, then, how do you understand that so many Muslims are killing other Muslims? I mean, I look at Syria, and now, and in Egypt, and of course other countries we don't know, but how, I mean, is it the black sheep against the, like we were talking about the black sheep in Christianity or in Islam?
Yeah, basically those terrorist people that are Muslim are living in Muslim world, and when they are mad with somebody, their response is violence. So guess who's next to them? Other Muslims, right? Who don't believe in them, who don't believe in the exact same doctrine that they believe in. So they're the easiest target. And these terrorists are just radical. So if they don't like what you're wearing, your history. And the lawlessness in the country, most of the Muslim countries of the world, the economies are bad, the lawlessness is rampant, so that's why they are much more violent over there compared to the US or the West, where we have better systems, better security systems, and we are far away, like thousands of miles away from them. So that's why what I think it's just easier for them to kill people who they don't like over there. And Ahmadiyya community in Pakistan is persecuted. Shias and Ahmadis are the most persecuted in Pakistan. And in 2010, there were 2 Ahmadiyya mosques in Pakistan. They were raided by these Taliban kind of people, and they killed about 100 people. Why? They were praying in a mosque. So they just don't like the message of the Ahmadiyya community or the Shia community, or even Sunni communities. They've even killed Sunni Muslims. So it's not like they are focusing on Christians or Jews. They're just killing anybody who they don't like.
But they still think of themselves as good Muslims.
Definitely. They are killing them, blowing themselves up to go to heaven.
So I think about where is the religion of peace in a system like that. You were saying that Islam is a religion of peace.
Right.
But yet we're seeing so much even between Islamic people who are not peaceful, not loving, not to each other, not just, I'm not even thinking about outside the country. It's just hard for me to accept a religion of peace that is being so destructive.
You said, where is the religion of peace? I believe it's preserved there. It's not preserved in the people. And if you said, where is the religion of peace? It's not in the people.
It's in the
book. So that the problem is with the people. And as Muzaffar said, it's match principle. Either you match me or I'm going to kill you. So it's like, as he said also, most people who've been attacked are Muslims, not Christians, not Jews, not everyone else. And the message is still there. What are you going to do? People are...
So they're not believing your message.
They're misinterpreting the message
Yes.
and just taking it to a totally different level, which has nothing to do with the real
And
message.
you don't need us. You don't need Muslims to tell you that. You can just read it by yourself. You don't need even to be an Arab speaker or Arabic speaker. You can read the translate and you can see it.
You mean if you read it in the Quran?
Yeah. You don't need Muslims to tell you that, or you don't need anyone from an Islamic perspective to tell you that it's been misquoted and misinterpreted.
Yeah, so if we read it, we would know that they're just totally off what's written.
But some Muslims, when you talk to them, they say, no, it says in Quran you're supposed to kill all the infidels. That's not what the Quran says. There are some verses in the Quran that talk about wartime when Muhammad was fighting people who were attacking the Islam. And those happened to be Jews and Christians and other religious and non-religious people. So those verses were only for that time when they were under attack, was to fight back. But they said, no, it applies for every day, every time, everywhere.
So they took it out of
They
context.
took it out of context and they applied it to their...
Like one of the verses, like two verses next to each other, those who killed you and took you out of your home, and then the second verse, kill them or take them out of home. They would take that. They wouldn't see the verse before it. That's one of their famous quotes.
I think that happens with our book.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I've seen it happen.
I have a question. I'm trying to understand you as a Muslim. What is your purpose? I think of when someone asks me, a non-believer, I'm a Christ follower. I want to love my God with all of my heart, my soul, my mind. And then as Jesus said, and love my neighbor as myself. And I want to go to heaven and take as many of my friends with me. That to me is my purpose. I mean, what would you say your purpose is? Because, I'll just leave it at that.
Maybe our list can answer
Okay.
because
Khalid, I really like how you're a deep thinker. I like how you process
That's
your
my answer in the beginning.
Yeah.
What it is.
You're a deep thinker. I like how you think.
Thanks. That's the 2 years that I'm talking about.
That's Kokomo, what happens?
Yeah, jump light.
Yeah. But
mostly-
why do you do what you do? Do you do it because you choose to do it? Do you do it because Christian believer? I was raised in a Christian family, and I was taught things and I learned things, and I just did them because But there came to be a point in my life where I said, Christ, I want to follow you. And I want to do it because this is truth. Truth is truth. What am I going to do about it? I can either ignore it, or as the atheist says, well, there's no truth.
Well, I believe if you do, as an said, if you do good deeds, you'll be a better person, no matter if you're Christian, Jews, or anything else. So, I don't know about, how to say it.
So your purpose in doing those good deeds,
Yeah.
what is the purpose in that?
What is the
To
purpose?
make yourself better
Yeah.
then? Okay.
Yeah. You should, you should self-educate yourself first before you go.
I think the ultimate purpose is the same. What you want to achieve is nearness to God, to know God, to get His love, to love Him. I think that Muslims have the same purpose. Even Jews and every religious person, I think, has the same purpose, is to connect with the divine. And when you are one with God, then you will be good to your neighbor, to your wife, to yourself, to your kids. Other than Paul's, you can sometimes do that.
Thank you. Mohammed, do you have any thoughts on?
I think it's the method that it's in Quran actually God says, I created you to worship, not just to play and sleep and eat and have sex and just this. This is not a life. I created you to worship me. Why? Because if you're being connected to your Creator, He's the one who knows the human being is not just a body. It's also there is a soul. The mystery of the human being is in the soul, not in the body. If you talk to any scientist, actually, he can't do a single word about soul. What is soul? How it's created, how it's reacting with the body, how it's moving the body, how it's this. You cannot know anything about your soul actually, only if you connect with your Creator, who created the soul. You see, and basically it's about the human being in his nature is about either prize or punishment, trick or treat, or you see, it's like, but it's mainly about the prize and punishment. If you do good, there is a prize for you. and if you didn't follow the punishment, actually it's gonna be in this life and in the afterlife. But it's better for us. We the ones who need the someone who did to show us how to live in the right way, how to you know.
So where is sin in this whole thing?
The sin.
Sin. I mean, how does a Muslim approach sin? Is there sin? I mean, because I can do good all day and make myself feel very good, but I can still have sin in my heart. Lust after this woman, or hate this person. Nobody knows that but me. How does a Muslim deal with sin?
You can't hate the Muslim can't hate anyone. This is how can you hate the creatings of God? How could you? It's I didn't get the question, but
No, you're
do you mean
answering very well.
what's the definition of sin in the Islam or something?
Yeah, that's part of the basis. I'm trying to understand it better because I don't know. I'm trying to understand how a Muslim approaches sin, or how do you get past sin, or how do you become right with God? It's by doing and doing and doing more. Is
Following its way, the right way.
Based on the Quran?
Based on the Quran, or it's there is evidence that the Quran is the right way, and you can feel it actually, and you know the human being nature, everything. You have to be good with others, and you have to love them, and there's many things which groups in the Quran, and because we believe actually it's from God. It's not been written or been according to someone or something like this. God is talking directly with us by the Quran, and for the sin, it's just very shortly. It's if you don't follow. I don't mean you're doing sin if you're a Christian. Just focus on me.
Oh, don't worry about me.
No.
I'm not.
No.
You
I'm
can't
saying
defend me.
That's
I'm
why
just
I
trying to
say
understand.
there's typical Christian people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a typical Muslim or something like this. No. Believe me, Islam itself, even the Muslim couldn't understand it fully because it's greater than many Muslims actually. Like Christianity.
You're-
Some Christian people didn't fully understand. Can you say that? You fully understood the Jesus and
I cannot understand the grace of God that would allow Jesus to cover my sinful heart, and when I don't deserve it, that I don't understand that grace. But I receive it, you know, because out of faith. But it's hard to understand. It's scandalous.
no, I'm talking about the whole.
Yeah.
Starting from
Yeah.
creation of universe until the judgment day. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a single event or something.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve, then the prophets, then the books, every prophet, how his community dealt with the prophet, like Jesus, when the Jewish killed him, and firstly they tried to hunt him and fight with him. Why you're saying a blasphemy, like saying you're the son of God, and you know, and Moses and the other prophets and Prophet Muhammad and the last and the Judgment Day. How it's the Judgment Day actually in Quran is a real beautiful picture about the Judgment Day. What's gonna happen in the Judgment Day, and how God, what's the parameters gonna be? God gonna judge people. That's why I said it's even the atheist people. If there is no any message from God had reached to them, maybe people living in Eskimo, they didn't know about Jesus or any prophet or Prophet Muhammad. So how these people? Maybe I could ask you. So, what do you think about people who didn't receive any message or didn't hear about any prophet or anyone who reaching for God? So, what do you think about
Like
it?
I said, it's 9:30, so if anyone needs to go, can we take another 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
That is a very
But if
difficult.
anyone needs to go, that's your 1
Yeah,
minute.
it's very
so.
difficult
So.
for
Go
Christians
ahead.
to, you know, what about that the tribal man
Yeah.
in Africa. But yet he sees the creation around him, and it is evident to him that it didn't just happen. It's just in our science minds where we try to explain away God, that we try to figure out, well, how do we make this earth older and all that. So it's a very good question. I mean,
Are they in heaven or in hell? This is the
Well,
question.
yeah, that's a very hard question.
That,
But
that's
as
one
a-
of the things God like says in the Quran many times. Will judge you based on what you did, not and what you understood, not what Paul understood or Mustafa understood. Yeah. So he would judge us individually. It's not on the group. Okay, I'm a Christian, I'm going with the Christians, or I'm Muslim, I'm going with the Muslims. It's not like that.
I understand.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I think there's things that are out of our control that only God can deal with, such as what you're talking about. We believe that God is a just God, and He can be nothing but just. And so I have to leave it to His justness, what happens to others. All I can do is try to impact those that are around me. I think that's what I have to focus on. And I think one of those focuses is trying to reach those people who haven't heard the gospel. I don't know what their future is. Only God knows that, and God knows the heart. What I've been asked to do is be His ambassador and try to go out there and reach people for our Lord. And I think that's my mission, our mission, and that's what we should be doing. I have one question. You talked about Jesus and you called Him Christ, which means Messiah. Do you believe that Jesus was the Messiah? That He is Jesus Christ?
Yes.
The Messiah comes from the Hebrew word wife or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the Arabic word for Masih, which means like, and we believe that is one of His miracles. So that's why he was called the Messiah. So I believe that, but I believe it.
Yeah, the understanding of the meaning, the word may be different. The way you understand Messiah versus we think Messiah is a divinely appointed reformer. That's what my belief of Jesus Christ is, that He was.
But let me ask you this: so would you say, with using your term, divinely appointed reformer for all time, or for the Jewish people at that point in time?
Before I answer that question, how many of you have actually seen a Quran
Only
in your hand?
Yeah.
Opened it, read it.
Parts of it, I haven't finished it.
He's read it a couple times.
Okay, there's a copy sitting in the back behind you. It's a red book.
Yeah.
What I would like you to do is just pass it around so that people can open it and see. It has Arabic scripture on one side and translation on the other. I just feel sometimes people have never even touched it because till I came to the US, I never touched a Bible. Now I have like 6 of them, one in Urdu, one in English. So just that as a sidebar. Question.
Define Messiah. Are your opinions? How you would define it?
How would I define Messiah? Messiah is a divine reformer who came to the world as a prophet, just like other prophets. So that's the difference between Muslim and Christian teaching. That Jesus Christ was a messenger of God, a prophet of God, who was sent to the people of Israel for their reformation. So my belief is that his scope was limited to that group of people for that time. And when Prophet Muhammad came and the religion of Islam says that, in Quran Allah says that today I have perfected your religion. And from today onward Islam is the religion before. So that's what my belief is, that Christianity was a true religion from God, but its time ended when the time of Islam started. So it's like the older version of the same operating system. Now we just have a new.
Can you help us, your perspective too, on definition of Messiah and what that means, or is it kind of similar to Muhammad or Mustafa just
I
described?
agree with him also. As he said, like, I believe that books for Prophet Muhammad was like going through first grade, second grade, till the end. So it's not just you cannot go to, as for those who live there, you cannot go to Islam, which I believe is the last one, without going through the first pages of Revelation. So it's not we don't believe in that, or that never happened, and Jesus was the false messenger or anything. No, we believe he's a true messenger and prophet.
Muhammad, any?
Just a divine prophet from God, like other prophets, and we believe that prophets sent by God should be, I don't know if the English word is correct, infallible. They don't do any wrong things. They could, it's like there's water in the lake which is dirty or something. You can't drink it, but you prevent yourself from. It's the same thing for prophets and for us, Shia Muslims, the Imams also. It's they can do the sin, but they prevent themselves. So every prophet from Adam to Prophet Muhammad, they don't treat. They should be infallible. They don't do any sins. That's why God chose them to for His divine message. To what? That's why I'm telling you, I'm looking for atheist people, because it's like if you want a prophet again, why the message? Why the Torah, the Zabur, and the Angel, the Injil, and the Quran has came? It's just to make people know God. There is a God in the first place, you know. So just for some atheist people and talking to them about God, you want to prove your religion is the right path to your God, and how can you prove your
Thanks.
So
That's good.
that's your religion. Is there's evidence in your religion, and what you believe there is a God. So prove it from your books and your beliefs. That's it. So Prophet Jesus is, as I told you before, it's great, especially for his miracles, you know, and the beautiful miracle about the blind